That morning was unusually quiet in the house. I had returned home earlier than expected from a business trip that was supposed to last 3 more days. The flight cancellation felt like fate pushing me towards something I needed to see. I walked into the living room, placed my suitcase in the corner, and sat there in silence, listening to the faint noises coming from the kitchen. My heart told me something was off, but I waited. I could hear soft laughter, muffled voices, and the clinking of glasses. My wife had told me she would be alone, busy with household chores. But then, the sound of a man's voice reached my ears. I stayed quiet, letting my anger simmer, while my mind prepared for what I knew I was about to face. Finally, the door to the kitchen creaked open, and she stepped in, carrying 2 cups of coffee. She froze instantly when her eyes landed on me sitting at the table. The color drained from her face, her hand trembling as one of the cups nearly slipped. She whispered almost in disbelief, "You're still here." I didn't answer right away. My silence was louder than any words. She set the cups down quickly, trying to compose herself, but the panic in her eyes betrayed her. Behind her, a shadow moved, a man adjusting his shirt, clearly caught off guard by my unexpected return. The truth was laid bare, without her having to explain. The man stuttered an excuse, claiming he was just a friend passing by. My wife's lips moved rapidly, trying to explain away the situation, but no excuse could erase the betrayal I felt in that moment. I had trusted her, given her everything, and here she was welcoming another man into my home. I leaned back in my chair, eyes fixed on her, not even glancing at him. "I was supposed to be gone," I finally said, "but I guess fate decided I needed to see this with my own eyes." My voice was calm, but every word carried the weight of broken trust. She tried reaching out, insisting it wasn't what it looked like, but her trembling hands betrayed her lies. The man, uncomfortable, muttered something about leaving, and without hesitation, he slipped out the back door, abandoning her in the mess they both created. The silence afterward was suffocating. My wife knelt in front of me, begging me to believe her, swearing it was a mistake, that it would never happen again. Tears streamed down her face, but I could no longer feel the love that once bound us. The woman I had married was gone, replaced by someone who had chosen betrayal. I stood, walked past her, and went into the bedroom. She followed, crying harder, begging me not to leave her. I calmly opened the closet, pulled out my suitcase, and began packing. The reality of my actions hit her then. This wasn't a fight. This was the end. "Please," she whispered, clutching my arm. "Don't do this. I'll change. I'll do anything." But her words sounded empty, rehearsed, and meaningless. "Trust, once broken, doesn't return with promises," I said quietly. I turned to her one last time. "You already made your choice. Now I'm making mine." My voice was steady, no anger left, just finality. She collapsed onto the bed, sobbing uncontrollably, but I kept packing without looking back. By evening I was gone. The house that once felt like a home now felt like a cage I had escaped. My phone buzzed endlessly with her calls and messages, but I ignored them all. I drove aimlessly, my mind heavy but strangely free. Days turned into weeks. Divorce papers were served, and she signed them without contest, perhaps realizing her pleas no longer mattered. Friends and family asked for details, but I gave none. I simply said, "It's over." That was all anyone needed to know. The betrayal left scars, but it also taught me strength. I rebuilt my life slowly, surrounded myself with people who valued honesty and loyalty. The pain faded with time, replaced by a quiet resolve never to accept less than respect. As for her, I never looked back. The image of her freezing in the kitchen, coffee spilling from her hands, and those 3 words, "You're still here," was enough to remind me why I walked away, and I never regretted it.